and I'm gonna show you today why 2 months are enough to get athletic for skinny fat teens. So if you're a skinny fat teenager, I invite you to watch this video until the end so you can see and you can have all the keys that you need to transform. So I'm gonna present you my transformation. This is what I look like 1.5 years ago. This is what I look like 2 to 1 month ago. And now, as you can see, I have abs and I have a defined belly, contrary to this picture, okay? Anyway, if you get my point, I want to show you that I really progressed during 2 months, okay? Before starting this video, you can join my school community. So if you want to make fast progress and you really want to invest in your physique, if you're a skinny fat teenager, join my school community and I will help you one-on-one to transform, okay? So join for fast progress. And we're gonna go to the point number one, which is that if you're skinny fat, you probably need to cut first. Why do you need to cut first? I already explained that in another video called Skinny Fat, Bulk or Cut. But the point I'm trying to make is that you're skinny fat, okay? It means that you start from a skinny physique, okay? So nobody cares if you get a little bit skinnier, okay? Now, if you're skinny, do you prefer to be skinny like this guy or do you prefer to be skinny like this guy? Do you prefer to if you're skinny, you might as well have abs and veins, right? So you need to cut first. And that's the foundation for a bulk. Because imagine if this guy he bulks. Yeah, he will put on size, but he will still be mugged by some random skinny guy who have abs, okay? So that's all the point I'm trying to make. You need to cut first and get your dream body fat percentage first. And also the process is way more enjoyable when you're shredded. So imagine you're at the beach and you look like this or like this. I mean, you have the perfect body, and even if you're skinny, even if you're like this guy, if you have abs and you have a relatively low body fat percentage, you will enjoy your life at its peak, okay? And my life has never been that great because I was always fat, and now I live my life to its fullest potential because I'm shredded, okay? Also, it depends on your starting point because you may not start from this physique, but for the big and the vast majority of skinny fat, you need to cut first. Okay. And why 2 months are enough to get lean? Firstly, most skinny fat aren't really fat. Okay, they are fat because they have a weird belly or something like that, but otherwise you're not skinny fat, you're just fat, okay? So you're not really fat. And even if you think that you're fat, you are not really, bro. Trust me, I've been there. I thought that I was fat. Yes, I was fat, but you get my point. You have to know how much fat you need to lose. Okay, so if you're skinny fat, it's probably 4 kilos of pure fat that you need to lose to get abs. But firstly, you need to know how much fat you need to lose, okay? And a kilo of fat is 7,700 calories. So you multiply that by 4. So that's the big number of calories that you have to burn to get to your dream physique. So here is approximately 30,000. So make your own math, okay? But this is it's just an example, okay? And then imagine if you have 2 months, you divide that number by 2, which is 15,400 calories. And so daily, it represents a daily caloric deficit of 500 calories. So that's quite attainable for 2 months. Imagine you cut for 2 months at 500 calories of deficit and you look like this. That's attainable. Trust me. If you have the right method, which is being super active, doing the most slow effort sport that you can do, and doing your steps, etc. But I already also explained that. And shout out to Luca Guif, which is a French natural bodybuilder. He's more like an influencer, and this guy told me to be more active because it's the key. It's the key to get lean. Okay, so shout out to him, and I think we can take action right now. So now take action. Get data about yourself. Why do you need to be super active? You need to be super active like an Olympic athlete. Why? Because when you're super active, when you have the activity levels of an Olympic athlete, you can eat a fuck ton of food and still be on a caloric deficit. So what's the I suggest you to do slow efforts, like for example stepping or cycling or swimming. Because if you try to run 2 hours every day, you will just be exhausted and it sucks. Okay, already made a video on that, but that's the point I'm trying to make. So what's the most amount of steps that you can do every day? For example, for me, it's 20,000 steps per day. Okay, for you, it might be 15,000 steps per day. Okay, and please don't be a pussy. Don't get limiting beliefs about yourself because I never thought I could do like 20,000 steps per day. Okay, I never thought I could do that, and yet I'm doing that every day. So you need to be brave and to not be a pussy, basically. And I will explain you some terms that you need to know, which is your BMR. BMR, what is BMR? It's the number of calories that you burn at rest without doing anything. So imagine you wake up and you do nothing for the day. That's the number of calories that you burn going through the day to maintain your vital functions. What's your PAL? Physical activity levels. It's a coefficient, a multiplier that applies to your BMR to know, uh, depending on your activity levels, what is the number of calories that you burn each day. And your TDEE is all the calories that you burn each day. So, how do you get to your TDEE? You multiply your BMR by your PAL and you get your TDEE. So, for example, you get data about yourself. So you can ask ChatGPT to get your BMR and your PAL. But imagine that you have a BMR of 1,600 like me, and you have a PAL of 1.8. It means that the number of calories that you burn each day are approximately 2,900 calories. So imagine applying a 500 calories deficit to that. It's like 2,400 calories. So that's a lot of food. While being on a camp, that's a lot of food, trust me. So that's why being super active is the solution, and you can get data about yourself. So here you can put what's my multiplier. I'm a little bit underestimated. If I go to the gym, if I swim, if I cycle, if I go steps X amount every day, what's my BMR with the Mifflin syndrome equation, which is just a fancy term for an equation that's just the most precise. That's it, okay? And you put your weight, your height, your age, and your gender, and you apply a 400 deficit or 500 deficit to your TDEE. So as you can see, I've got data about me. And once you have done all that, once you took action, you get data about yourself, just go to the gym, do your steps, train hard, eat right, and that's it. You get your dream body. Get lean. By the way, self improvement is useless if you don't have a purpose above you, for example, God. And so that's why I preach that Jesus loves you. Goodbye.